Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome to the Pool Nation Live podcast with myself, your host, Edgar De Jesus. And yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas. In today's podcast, we will continue our conversation about sales, your sales pitch, and selling techniques. But we're also going to be talking about sources of revenue. We're going to talk about all the different revenue opportunities out there for the pool guys and the pool girls. Plus, I'm throwing Zach and John a curveball today, so stay tuned to see how they handle that. I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, Ultimate Pool Tools, HASA, Pool Invoice, and PoolManUniversity.com. We want to thank them for their continued support. Zach, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a good week and is getting caught up from the winds and the freeze and whatever other madness has been going on out there. I know we're super backlogged right now because of the freeze. I think we're 2 to 3 weeks out still on getting caught up on this stuff, and it seems like it just keeps filling up. So it's pretty crazy out there.
Wow, you're still 2 to 3 weeks out?
Yeah, and I mean that's all day, every day, just going full throttle. And now, as everyone's experiencing, we're running into product shortage issues. So that's just adding to the whole mess.
That is crazy. John, how are you?
I'm not doing too well, actually. I went to hook up my microphone and everything, and it's not working. So I'm on my AirPod right now.
You're on your air, but you sound good.
Good. Well, I'm glad. Hopefully it works.
So if you would, if you wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have known.
Remember, I went.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm like, oh my God, I should have tested it this morning.
Just to tell you this, John, you're on an Android and you're using your headphones, and it sounds like you're on your professional mic.
It does? Oh,
yeah, that didn't happen with the iPhone.
Android problems. Huh?
So I don't know what the hell's going on. And I just hope my earbud or my iPod or whatever the hell it is charged enough for the whole thing. But we'll see. Yeah. So if I drop off unexpectedly, you will know why.
And that's when we'll go, cue John. And John will be quiet.
And I'll just start texting all my answers on the screen.
That is awesome. So John, how are you with regards to your crazy winds out there?
Yeah, it just seems like every time we get through them, we just get hit again with another one. But this last week wasn't quite as bad. But yeah, it definitely hurt us. But we're finally caught up again, and we're just praying that at least we get a few weeks of calmness so that we can get caught up on all the other things we need. It really puts you behind because I mean, when you're spending an extra 15 minutes at every single pool, right? That just takes away hours worth of your day. Where if you need to do other things, you just don't have the time to do it. So we're pretty booked. We're working 7 days a week right now just to get caught up. And I mean, we're still on track, but God, we just need a break.
Yeah, that's, completely crazy. But you know what? Glad that those wins are just a little bit behind you there. That way we can move on.
For sure.
Zach, I want to thank you for doing that live on Wednesday. That was a fun one. After the live, I got probably about 15 messages from the pool guys and the pool girls out there sharing what they do and asking questions on the different sources of revenue. So I'm glad that we also decided to include that into today's podcast. And Zach, are you ready for tomorrow's training?
Yeah, for sure. And, I'm excited because I'm going to be learning too. And it's the perfect time to be going through this because I can be ready to make the most out of 2021 because I have a feeling that this year is going to be, super intense. We haven't really had that slowdown. And so I feel like we're just going to have a huge increase. So I think the training tomorrow is perfect timing to make the necessary preparations to be able to plan for that. And on another note, I want to give a shout out to Mike Friedman because he scored the perfect score on Bob's water chemistry certification. And that doesn't happen often. And I have to say, I'm a little jealous, Mike, because I missed one question. So big shout out to you and congratulations to you, and you keep up the hard work.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Ensenada Pools. She sent us a message that said, I quote, "I am improving $20 more on a new customer. It's true what you say. The more you practice, the better you will be. Thanks for that gold."
That's awesome. We have Maria tomorrow on the training, and she's been working on her numbers and stuff like that. And I know she's been a loyal follower. So I'm super excited to have her on tomorrow, Zach, on training. I do have 2 shout outs that I want to do. And one of them is going to be to our programmer, Joey. And he's been working really hard on this entire Pool Nation project. And he's been working on the new training module that we're going to use tomorrow, Zach. And he has just been on fire. So I need to thank Joey for that. And I appreciate all of your hard work and all the team that's been working on it. The other one, guys, is from Joe. And he sent me this message. He said, "Just wanted to let you know I really appreciate what you guys are doing over there. I've been in a funk since my dog passed away, not motivated to sell, etc. Hearing you guys talk about taking things to the next level really got me back in gear and focused properly. It's pretty cool when you make a positive impact in ways that you didn't intend. Thank you." And I just thought that was completely cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff, honestly, that gives me the courage because as I've mentioned before, I have that stage fright, that nervousness, and that's the stuff that gives me the courage to keep, pushing and digging and going through this. And Joe, I'm sorry to hear about your dog. That's really tough, but thank you for your support.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you guys a little story from my side. So Zach, I don't think Zach and John even know this part, but I grew up on a tiny island. And so my grandfather had a dairy farm, and we grew up not attached to animals because, obviously you grow on a farm, and my grandfather was friends with the guy that owned the slaughterhouse. So we would walk into these slaughterhouses where they just slaughter the cows and, the pig farms and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of grow up and you're really not attached to animals because that's just the normal environment that you're in. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I really fell in love with the dog for the first time. And that was when Sienna had her accident. She was asking me and my wife, I want a dog. And me and my wife were like, we'll go get the moon if you want it, for God's sakes.
Right.
And so we got her a toy Maltese that she wanted, Ellen. And I have just completely fallen in love for the first time at 48 years old with a dog. And then my other daughter got a toy Australian Shepherd, and I think I treat those dogs just like my kids. It's completely crazy. My kids are big. They don't want hugs. They don't want kisses. So, of course, my dogs now get all of those. So, Joe, when I got that message, I was very happy to hear that you're kind of back on track, but obviously that hurt too. So thanks for the kind words and our deepest condolences to you, brother.
I want to jump in real quick, and this is 100% real talk. Sometimes I wonder if any of this is helping. Are we getting through to folks? Are we making an impact? And, why are we even doing this? I'm not getting a paycheck. To be honest, I value time as much as money. It's our most precious commodity. And I know it can speak for all 3 of us. As busy as we are, time is in short supply. So when we hear these messages, it really definitely hits home. It makes it worth every second invested. We love hearing these stories. Glad we've had a positive impact. Seriously.
Absolutely, guys. So, John, we're going to have to start with you because we ran out of time last week on the podcast, and I want to continue the sales conversation because it's a topic that the guys and the girls out there to continue to talk about, and they ask more questions on it. But before we get started today, I have a little curveball for you, John and Zach. Are you guys good under pressure?
I don't know.
The silence kicks in. Zach, are you good under pressure?
No. This moment is making me relive the nightmare of when I failed my motorcycle license test. So thank you for bringing that back up. Not good under pressure at all. But.
Not good under pressure. That's a different conversation that we're going to have because I never knew that you actually rode motorcycles. So that's going to be an interesting one. John, what about you? John, you seem like you're a little bit more smooth and a little bit more, I got this.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. All
right. So here's what I decided to do, guys, is I am going to do a 30-second pool man knowledge challenge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of you on the spot, and I'm going to put the timer on for 30 seconds and ask as many pool questions in those 30 seconds as I can. So your job is going to be to answer first and obviously correct. So I'll go through the questions and you just answer away until you hear the buzzer. So we're going to have a sound of the timer in the background. I'll ask the questions and then there'll be a buzzer at the end and then time's up. So this one is definitely for bragging rights, guys.
Man.
Oh, shit.
Go easy on me, John.
Oh, my God.
So are you ready?
Surprises.
All
so
right.
Here we go.
So are you ready for another curveball?
Okay.
They just keep coming.
Oh, my God.
They just keep coming. And for this one, I have to thank my beautiful wife because she was the one that came up with the idea for it. But in order for you to get the answer correct, you have to say the word hashtag before your answer.
Oh,
shit.
Shit. All right.
So here's the thing. If you do not say hashtag in the front of your answer, it's going to be considered incorrect. And the other player can yell hashtag in the answer, and it'll be considered correct.
All right. Let's do this.
So you guys think that you're ready?
I'm ready.
Well, I don't think we have a choice. Let's do this.
We don't have a time? Okay.
We don't have a choice. Here we go.
All right. So you guys ready?
Ready.
All right.
Hashtag.
Is it okay to add calcium increaser and sodium bicarb at the same time?
Hashtag no.
Does liquid chlorine raise the pH in a pool?
Hashtag no.
Who do we call the godfather of water chemistry?
Hashtag Robert Lowry.
Are borates an algicide or an algistat?
Hashtag algistat.
Does adding borates to a pool prevent pH from going up fast?
Hashtag yes.
Time is up. Oh, man. Oh, it seems like that was a definite close one, guys. So, John, do you think you won that one?
Fuck yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Whoa,
Yeah.
John, babe.
I don't know, John. You had a little bit of a lag there. I think I might have crossed the finish line.
Hey, but you know what's great?
Think he had a lag?
You know what's great? We all had the right answers, though. That's what was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you're saying whoever was faster at answering is the winner?
All I'm saying is 5 hours, a rock star, and 2 cups of coffee. And that's what gave me the edge today. So I got to get the words out a little bit quicker than Zach.
Yeah.
But we both had the answers.
I'll tell you what, if you were wearing these lightning Crocs that I got, you would probably be going faster.
Hey, since this was light, we get to cut out my profanity, right?
We'll leave that one in there for you, John, so that the guys can,
sure.
Kind of get it out there. So the winner, I should have gotten a sound for the winner. Let me see if this will work. By one, very close. Zach is the winner for today's knowledge.
You can send a check to 404 Newport.
He beat you by 1. He was a little bit faster than you, John.
Oh, my God.
So I think we're going to have to change that to Zach, the fastest answer in the West.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
John, what are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, I think it's rigged.
You think it's rigged?
I do.
Zach, how does it feel to be champion for today?
Feels amazing.
Zach, congratulations, Zach.
Fans. Thank you, John.
All the fans out there, thank you. Anyways, guys, I just thought it would be kind of neat to kind of throw a little curveball to you guys there in the morning. And maybe we should kind of get 2 people that are always listening to our podcast maybe next week or something like that. Yep.
Timeout. So is the correct answer who started it first or who finished the answer first? Because I think we need to do a replay.
You need to do a replay?
Yeah, we need to do a replay because if the hashtag part came out of Zach's mouth first, I definitely finished the answer first. I don't know. So I had to remember to say, let's go back. Let's review. I'm using up a timeout. We need to replay this, and then we need to figure it out.
John, do we need to take this all the way to the Supreme Court?
I think we will. I think we will.
Do we need to toss out his answers because of the hashtag?
Too funny.
So, all right, guys, listen, I think we have a podcast to do here. So I really enjoyed that, by the way. But Zach, you got a little bit of bragging rights at least till next week. Maybe John's going to tell us, you know what, we need to redo. I'm going to re-listen to the podcast and call you guys out, and we'll have to redo this thing all over.
I've already sent it out to be analyzed, so I'll get you the results. Don't worry about it. It's already out.
You need like a UFC style poster with John and me on it.
On it.
A rematch.
Oh my God, that's awesome. We're going to have to do that. You know what? I'm going to send that to one of my peeps here. So guys, I actually enjoyed that a lot. That was good. So, all right, guys, let's get started with today's podcast. And we've been chit-chatting here for a little while. So let's get this party started. And last week, guys, we talked about sales. We really were able to get Zach's side from his sales techniques and everything that he's put into play. And so what I want to do today is, John, I want to go back to you, kind of talk about your sales process, all the things that you have in play, all the things that you've put in play over the years. And then after that, guys, I want to then jump in and talk about the sources of revenue and kind of do a breakdown. And what we can do at that point is talk about maybe the ones that you have in play, some of the ones that we've been getting from everybody. And really the goal is to put them out there for everybody so that they can listen to all of them and they can use the ones that they want, because the beauty of our businesses is we get to run our businesses however we want to, and we can kind of get to pick and choose, and everybody's kind of a little bit different, but we can kind of put those all out there. John, let me start with you today. And I know that you're good at sales, and I get people all the time going, hey, I want to listen to John do his pitch because he's so smooth. And I've even listened to you when I've called you and you're talking to a customer. And I don't remember what it was. You were talking to the customer about having some issue with the pool. And I was ready to sign up by just listening to you that on the phone. How much of an importance have you put into your sales process?
I think it's probably the most important when it comes down to, being successful. The first impressions, everybody says, right? First impressions are most important. And I'm a firm believer in that, especially coming from like a sales background. And the first impression starts from the minute you pick up the phone. So when a customer calls or you get a phone call, how you answer your phone, when you answer your phone, if you answer your phone, if you return a voicemail or if you return a text, but it's all eyes are on you, and that first impression hits immediately when someone calls you. So when someone calls us, I always answer the phone. If I cannot, I always respond back immediately. But when I do, it's always J&J Flawless Pools. This is John speaking, right? So I'm always pronounce myself. It's always professional. It doesn't matter who it is or whatever. I start off the conversation that way so that we can build, I don't know. They understand they're calling the company. It's not, you never answer the phone. I remember when we first started, and I don't want to get sidetracked here, but when we first started our business, we would call pool companies and try to get some information on pricing, what they did, because we had no idea, right? And I can't tell you how many times I called different pool companies out there, because when you look at a phone book or when you're looking online, you can't really distinguish the difference of whether or not that company you're calling is a one-poler or is a huge corporation that has a bunch of different pools and a bunch of different service guys and gals. So you need to be able to, present yourself as, an industry leader, or at least that you're professional, you're taking this seriously. But I can't remember how many times I called people and they'd be like, hello, it's just like, what? When you're calling, talk to a customer or you're calling a company, the last thing you want to do is hear somebody say hello on the other line. You immediately lose some respect for that company. At least that's the way I look at it. You want to call, if I'm calling Flawless Pools, I want to hear that name. If I'm calling the Pool Boys, I don't want to hear hi or hello or how can I help you? It'd be like, hey, My name's John. This is J&J Flawless Pools. What can we do for you today? I think it's really critical that you start off when it comes down to the first impression when you talk to a customer. But let's really think about it and be honest with ourselves. As far as when you're selling to people, talent, skills, and knowledge will seriously get you nowhere at first. You can't sell those abilities to your customers really over the phone. You can't really prove to them that you know what you're doing until they see you do it. So what's important is that you portray confidence and that you have answers to their questions. And most importantly, you have solutions to whatever problem they have when they approach you, because they're calling you for a service and you need to make them feel comfortable, or you need to make them feel good in choosing you to help deliver that solution to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And that, again, so all the knowledge, this testing that we did and all the certifications we've done and all that doesn't mean shit to anybody, right? And the customer really, you say those things and they really don't understand it. They've got to be able to trust you as a person and as an organization that you're going to take care of whatever needs they have and you're going to be able to solve their problem. As far as sales, I think, like I said, it's the most important thing, if not one of the most important things when it comes down to being successful as a business. And then on the flip side, though, you can be great at sales, but if you don't deliver on the things that you promise or the confidence in being able to take care of whatever problem they have, your success will definitely be short-lived and you won't last. So, shitty work will catch up to you, and you'll have a long, difficult road ahead of you.
And you just hit on something pretty key there, John, being able to deliver on it. And so not necessarily in just the sense of doing like shoddy work or anything like that, but you need to know what you can deliver on, and you need to set that expectation with the customer, because oftentimes customers are going to ask for this or that. And it's easy to want to be that yes person. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can help you. But you need to know what you can deliver on, because even though you're willing and you want to help and you want to do it, if you can't deliver on it, it's going to leave a negative impact on that relationship with the customer.
You hit it, Zach, and it's true. And we've heard it before, right? Overpromise and underdeliver is what you don't want to do, right? You want to underpromise and overdeliver. And it's hard because sometimes, especially when you're starting out, you want to be that yes man or that yes girl. I can do it. And then all it's going to do is hurt you in the long run, right? And the truth is, customers and people, human nature, we all like to think people are great, but in reality, there's people out there that will take advantage of you. And they feed off that. And if you don't draw a line in the sand sometimes and have them respect you for who you are, they will definitely take advantage of you, and it will turn into a nightmare of a customer. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in the podcast, but you have to be able to draw that line. Be respectful, obviously, when you do it, but they need to understand that the situation is you need me, I don't need you. How can I help you? And as long as you have that, then there's a mutual respect between each other. That's how you build good relationships, I think, and that's how you build good clients.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree, John. One of the things that we hadn't talked about and you brought up is really from that initial step, the very first step. This is John, J&J Flawless, having that professional approach. And the thing is, guys, that you could be a small company, but they're not going to know that. And so you have to portray yourself as what you want to be, as that professional pool service company. So that's a great point to bring up for all of you out there that are trying to get into your sales game, is even starting with something as simple as that. Because there are, like John says, a lot of guys out there that just kind of answer the phone. Hello, hey, what's up? Or don't call back. And every time that we talk to a customer, you always hear I've called 5 other people and nobody answers their phone. Yeah, and to me, it's like, that's your revenue. That's your livelihood. It's just amazing to me that you're getting these leads from wherever you're getting them. You got people saying, I want your service. And you're like, voicemail. Oh, don't want to answer. So that just to me is absolutely crazy. Zach, how do you guys answer the phone?
Exactly. He doesn't answer, is what he's trying to say.
He's one of those that doesn't answer.
I'm having technical difficulties here.
John, he's not too fast with the finger to the mute button. Either that or he's having a bang.
Our phones are, thank you for calling the Pool Boys. This is whoever. How can I help you? And I was guilty on my personal cell of just doing this is Zach. And it's actually after listening to John just really drive the importance of this that I now answer my cell phone. Thank you for calling the Pool Boys. This is Zach. And I had this whole issue where I felt like if I answered it like that on my personal cell, then that customer is going to forever think this is the number I need to call instead of being able to funnel them to the office. But, all that aside, I now answer my phone. Thank you for calling the Pool Boys. This is Zach.
John, there's another thing that you do with regards to your customers that you've talked about that I thought that was awesome. And that is that you always enter the customer's names into your phone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. You should see my contact list. And look, and I was having literally a heart attack because when I switched from iPhone to Android, trying to get my contacts over the Samsung switch thing wasn't working. And I was like freaking out because I have so many contacts, but I finally figured out how to do it. But yeah, I have literally like 1,000 names in my phone from just people that I've spoken to before in the past. Because I can't tell you, I've learned that even though when we go out and do a quote, especially during the beginning, we're priced higher than most. We didn't hit them out of the park every single time. And, we go out to see 10. We don't close 10. We might close 6 of them or 7 of them out of the 10. But what we found out, and as we kept track, that those 4 or 3 other clients that we didn't close 6 months down the road or a year down the road, they call us back and they remember us. And they say, okay, John, we're ready for you guys to take over now. One of our pitches when we sell to our clients is, and I tell them, and I almost try to talk them out sometimes at the beginning. And I tell them, I go, look, I get it. This is what you were paying, right? But this is a service you were getting. This is where we're at now. You have me here because you're not happy with that service. And obviously, we equate money with value. And at that price, there's no way I'll be able to service your pool, the way that our company likes to service our clients and our pools. And I know we're much more expensive. And at times we're 200, 300% more expensive than what they were paying before in the past. And we let them know, hey, look, we get it. And I want to let you know that you can go find someone else to service your pool for much less than what we offer. And, you might be happy with them or whatever. You might not be ready for us. And I tell them, we're the pool service company you call after you've been through 3 or 4 or 5 different companies and you're just sick and tired of it. And you're looking for a company for forever. You're looking for somebody to service your pool for life. Right? And that's who we are. So if you're not ready to make that step or that jump right now, in the future, here's our number, a name, feel free to give me a call. And we get so many callbacks. And I can't tell you how impressed or the customer, or I would feel too. If you call to come, imagine when they call me back a year later and I pick it up and I say, hi, Kim, good to hear from you again. Are you ready for us? And they go, yes, John, we're ready. The first thing they say is like, wow, you remembered me? And I go, yeah, of course I remembered you. So I have their name on there and I'll put some notes or whatever notes that I remembered at the pool or anything I needed to know, like whether it's what their dog name was or where they lived and, just little small details like that. And, I tend to remember those things pretty well. And then I have it on my phone. They pop up and I talk and I go, oh, yeah, of course I remember or this is this, or this is who was servicing. This is what you were paying. This was your issue. And you automatically knock it right out of the park with them. Does that make sense?
That's beautiful. And, it's funny, John, because we used to do that in hotels too. And it was, you'd have the customer's previous stay. So you see how many nights they had stayed with you before. And one of the things that we always drilled down was when that person shows up, that's the very first thing that you're going to look at. And if you see that there's a number there, you're going to say, welcome back. And the people would just have that like awe moment. Like, how do you know I've been here before?
Exactly.
But that move that, that you did by putting all the numbers in the phone and then when they call back, you answer, that's huge. And that from the sales standpoint is something that we, haven't really put on our list of stuff, but that is huge. The other thing that I like, Zach, that you do is on your voicemail, you tell people not to leave you a message, to call the office or send you a text. And I think that's something that people should do, because sometimes, like Jeanette was saying here on the comments, sometimes I'm on the other line or the hand's in the water and she tries to answer. And that's true, right? Sometimes we just kind of can't get to the phone. But I think another step would be putting that message saying, hey, it's easier for you to just send me a text or call the office or do something. And then you kind of finish that cycle of not being able to get to the phone.
Yeah, and it's all about creating that funnel. So when I came up with that, I thought, how are we going to be able to best provide the best customer service for them? And I get so tied up or, pulled in 100 directions, and people call me and leave a message, and I may not even check that message. And then now I'm creating a dissatisfied customer. And so that's where I really came up with that. And I just kind of consider it being professionally transparent. Like, hey, I know it's not convenient to not be able to leave a message on my voicemail. However, you're going to get the best service if you call the office. We do that with all the texts too, because think about how much stuff gets lost when they're home on Saturday night, but, Mr. and Mrs. Smith save their number and they're having a heater that won't come on, and they start texting that tech after hours. So we just funnel everything to that central point of contact so we know they're taken care of every time.
That's brilliant, Zach.
Yeah, that's a really good one. The other one, so we have Leslie here, messaging board, and she says keeping history of all the jobs, equipment, and maintenance is also important. That to me is a huge one as well, to be able to obviously talk to your customers and make them feel that you have all those logs, especially if they're calling back for a repair and you need to fix something and they're thinking, oh, I already fixed that, or I already did this, and you have all that information. And as you're part of your sales, you're like, oh, we replaced this on this date. We did this on this date. We did this on this date. It really helps that customer, feel like you know everything about them. And it just helps in that sales process.
For sure.
So, John, at what point did you look at it after you started doing pools and you realized that you needed to get better at that sales process? And maybe, I know that you kind of come from a sales background, so you were kind of strong at that. But at what point maybe was there a thing or two that you kind of tied into that sales process that's related to just the pool side?
From day one. So, there's two parts to sales, right? So you can sell them anything, but if you don't deliver, right, it doesn't mean shit. So from day one, a good salesman can, BS their way through a lot, especially when the other party doesn't know anything about what you're selling. But a great salesman understands what they're talking about. Most importantly, believes in the product and services they're selling. When you can get your customer to see that you believe in it and then tie it into their life. And what I mean by tying into their life is that's what's really huge about the sales process. So try to explain this the best I can. When you're selling to a customer, you can't just say, okay, I have a service, or here's a heater, or here's that, or the difference between going with a single speed pump or a variable speed pump, and here's the cost or whatever. When you're during the sales process, your number one job, your number one goal in order to be successful and to close that deal is to understand their life. Right? And what I mean by that is understand how what you have can benefit their life and how it can solve or answer problems that they might have. So you tie it into their lifestyle is what we call it. So when you're talking to a customer, and let's say when we're there and we talk about everything, we talk about kids, we talk about dogs, we talk about where they live, where they come from, how many pools they've had. What are some of the gripes that they've had before in the past? What are the things that they wish they had? And, here's a simple thing. So, for instance, they could talk about, I don't like it when my other pool guy, when he comes and he pours a lot of chlorine into it. And when the kids jump into it, their skin gets itchy or their eyes burn or something like that. And we talk or whatever, and we go through it. And then all of a sudden I would say, I remember those things, and they put it in my head. Or they'll say, hey, look, we need to use, when we go to jump in the spa just takes forever to heat up, and, it takes 2 hours or an hour and a half. And I remember those things as I'm going and I'm looking at the equipment or I'm looking at different things. And as we're talking, I don't immediately come off with it, but before I'm done, we start bringing up, okay, great. If you take us on, if you decide on bringing us on to service your pool, this is what we can offer you. I remember you were talking about the children when they jump in after swimming, or after a pool man services your pool, or after the technician services your pool. You're afraid of the kids going in because their eyes burn or whatever. I'll let them know about our approach, and that we use minerals opposed to just using chlorine. And then we talk about salt systems. I can see, hey, look, let me explain to you how it works when a guy comes into service your pool and they have to service that pool, and that chlorine needs to hold within 7 days. You have to spike it up X amount, and if they don't jump in or let you know, well, we can offer you a salt system. And a salt system, the beauty of a salt system is we can minimize the amount of chlorine that we have in your pool to almost right to the bare minimum, so you'll never have that issue. And then by doing that, right, you explain to them, it'll cost you this much, we can do this or whatever. It ties it into their lifestyle. Right now, they have a true benefit and they understand what it is. They talk about their heater doesn't heat up quick. And I looked over and it's a 250. And I said, okay, great. Well, if you're looking, the heater you have is adequate, can heat up your spa. But if you're looking to heat it up faster, they do offer other heaters that'll heat up your spa faster. They offer one that's a 400,000 BTU, which will heat it up almost twice as fast. And you can get this spa heated up in 30 minutes opposed to an hour and 15 minutes. And you tell them those things and you tie it into a need that they want. Or they can say, also, hey, it takes so long, and when we come here and then we have to turn on and wait, and then go, well, how would you like to have access on your phone? So you don't have to worry about that. Or if you want to stay with this heater and not have to put in a new heater because it still works, and let's just wait till it breaks down on you before we get you a new one. How about you have access on your phone? So when you guys are out to dinner, or when you're thinking about getting the spa, instead of having to get out and go and put it in, you just turn on your phone and turn on the heater so that it's ready by the time you get home. When you tie it into their lifestyle, right, you're basically telling them, this is what you said you wanted, and this is what you need in order to accomplish that. And it just makes it a lot easier to get the sell. And it makes them understand and makes them feel like you're listening to them, and you're not just there to sell to them a product, you're actually there to help take care of their need and eliminate these issues that they have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
makes total sense.
And like one key thing that I do, and I think it really helps, is exactly what you were talking about, is kind of the listening and holding a lot of that information in and letting them get through everything, and then repeating that back to them with your solution, because what it shows is that you are listening, that you are paying attention. Now, that's kind of a learned thing after you practice it. But if they say, I didn't like how you put so much chlorine in the pool, and you go, yeah, we don't put too much chlorine in the pool, and they say, I don't like how you left the gate open, and you say, yeah, we won't leave the gate open. There's just a little bit of a difference in that versus when you hold it all in, you let them talk about everything, you listen, and then you provide them with how you're going to solve those problems or take care of those things.
Perfect. Like Zach, I think you nailed it. So if a customer said about the gate, don't worry about it. All our technicians have checklists. I know you said one of your concerns was that the gate was left open and the dogs get out. One of our technicians have a checklist, and they go through a checklist at every single visit. And one of them is the gate secured and locked on the way out. So rest assured, when they do it, this is what they do. So it's a lot easier than just saying, okay, yeah, I won't do that. Yeah, okay, I'll make sure I don't. It totally, it puts the ball literally in their court, because it's no longer you selling them something or promise them a bill of goods, especially for something that they don't understand. But it's like, hey, you asked me, you told me this, and I got a solution for you. So, and then the question is, so at the end, it's like, okay, so when should we set up the install for the salt system? When would you like this to start service? This week, or should we start at the beginning of the month? It's another important process too of selling, and that we don't talk about enough. You need to assume the sale. You never give them an option to say no, right? So when your questions that you're asking is like, okay, so when do we start? It's not, would you like to hire us or not? Would you like me to install this heater? Should we upgrade your heater? No. When can we install this heater? Or I can get this heater installed as soon as in 2 weeks or in a week, or we can have this salt system installed, blah, 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 whatever. When would you like it done? When you do that, it changes the dynamic, and it's just mentally, that's how it works. And if it's something that they know they need because they said they needed it and you gave them that solution, then 9 out of 10 times they're going to say, okay, let's do it. The only thing that's going to prevent them from doing it at that point is money. If they don't have the money, they don't have the money, right? Doesn't matter. And you don't want to get somebody on something and get them to spend something that they don't have or to put them in a tough position. So if you eliminate all the other BS excuses, you eliminate all the hemming and hawing on whether or not here and there, and the only question is money, then that's the only decision they make at that time is whether or not they can afford it. And if they can afford it, they have to decide whether or not it's important enough. And if it is, and they'll just say, yeah, let's do it. That's how you get them to the buy-in. That's how you get them to say yes. That's how you get those sales. That's how you get the respect from them, because you're a solution provider now. You're not just there trying to sell them on stuff. You're there trying to make problems go away and provide solutions for them. Sorry to go on a rant.
No, it's okay. And the main thing is a bad sales guy will do 80% of the talking and not allow the customer to tell them what it is that they need. They just show up and they just want to do. And it could be anything that you're selling. Obviously, we're talking about pools. So you show up into the backyard and all you're worried about is throwing what your rate is and when you can get them on. But you're losing that entire sales process because, sure, they might jump you on for service, right? They might go, hey, jump on, do it. Let's get it done. But you haven't listened to what they're saying. And just like you're talking about, John, you're not going to know what their needs are. You're not going to know how it's going to fit into that lifestyle. So you're leaving a lot of things on the table. And let's be honest, a lot of times you get the homeowners and they're just like, I just need to deal with this pool thing. And if you do get somebody that's just worried about servicing the pool, they might just say, service it. And even though they might have an issue with the heater or whatever, they're like, oh, screw it. We'll just deal with it later. And then they never deal with it. But you have that window of opportunity when you first talk to the customer to listen to everything and then offer solutions to everything so that you can take advantage of that sales process and not just sell the rate, but sell everything else that they need for that pool.
Yep.
Guys, let's take a quick word from our sponsors. John, when we come back, I want to continue.
2021 is the year of the Pool Pro. HASA is here to support pool pros with the purest and highest strength liquid sanitizer available. HASA SaniChlor provides fast, safe chlorine performance without adding any cyanuric acid or calcium. HASA gives you the best cost per use solution for shocking and daily sanitizing and is in stock. Look for the new HASA Rewards app coming soon. Go to hasa.com for more news, educational videos, and product information and literature. The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Introducing Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is pool billing software that was created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It was developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice was built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all of your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer's profile, and it's all at your fingertips. It's currently in beta phase, so anyone can use it for free. Just go to poolinvoice.com and request an invitation at the bottom of the page. Pool Invoice was made for you.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking to Zach and John. We're talking about the sales process part 2, the importance to your sales process. And today we're going to talk about revenue sources as well, so that you think of your business as one big business, but then you have smaller businesses within that. So we're going to break those all down for you here in a couple minutes. So we've been talking to John, getting some great information on his sales and how he deals with it. John, let me ask you the next question. What would you tell a new pool guy that's out there just starting on his or her sales process?
Well, we talk about sales, and one of the most important things in sales is confidence, right? And confidence isn't something some people just naturally have it, right? But the way you can acquire it is when you understand what you're talking about. So the first and foremost, the most important thing is you've got to get educated. So the know more, you get more. So simple, know more, get more. Never stop learning. Know your services, your products better than anyone. If you want to get to the next level, focus on this. Don't just know how things work, know why they work. And how do I put this? It's like, if you ever talked to somebody or you ever had a conversation with somebody and you're talking about maybe something that, or politics, that somebody who's not in the politics, and you've ever had a conversation with somebody and they're just looking at you like, oh my God, it's the last thing I want to talk about. But then you bring up a conversation that they might be into, and then all of a sudden their mood just changes. And they feel, and now they're a gabby abby, and they're talking and they're in their element and they feel good about it. It's the same thing when it comes down to sales or whatever you're pitching. If you're trying to sell something to somebody and you don't have a good understanding, a great understanding of what it does, or what that product is, or how to do this, people see that. It's the body language that they'll get from you, and they'll understand it. If a customer asks you a question, or a person asks you a question, and you're able to whip out that answer and say it with confidence, people see that and they understand it. Just like the way I beat Zach on that on the quiz that I just did, right? If you don't understand the product, then you don't show that confidence, right? And you don't show that confidence, people will feed off of it. So again, just get educated and know your shit. If you know it, naturally, people will be one leg up ahead on people when it comes down to sales.
I'm going to agree with that 100%, John, because I talk about it all the time. And that is, I used to go to the pool shows, and I used to take these random classes that when my guys used to go with me, they'd look at me and like, why are you taking that class? Why are you taking a class on thermodynamics, right? And really what I wanted to do is get as much knowledge as I can. And then what it would do is, when you're talking to a customer and you're explaining what it is that their need is, you can give them so many details that they're going to go, wow, this person is really, really knowledgeable. And that class that I took with the thermodynamics and the water evaporation and all that, I was doing a lot of Airbnb, John, and I had guys that wanted to put covers, solar covers.
Yeah.
And so, I go into this deep conversation about thermodynamics and the water evaporation and all this kind of stuff. And the guy was in complete awe. But I wouldn't have done that if I didn't go take that class. And even though my other guys were looking at me like, why are you doing that? It's a matter of, you have to learn that topic and all the details of it. And did I talk to everybody about water evaporation every day? No. But when I did have that one opportunity, I had the knowledge. The other thing was the one with the Deco Seal. I love that because they taught me about concrete and how concrete behaves. And I've talked about it. But every time I had to go out and do a sale for Deco Seal, I would be able to take that customer in that journey and then explain to them how, the concrete behaves and why they, have the Deco Seal there and the damage that it could do and how the concrete will behave after all that water and all that moisture and all that kind of stuff. And then every time they're like, do it now. But the more knowledgeable you are, like John is saying, of that process and that product is just going to give you a bigger opportunity to get that sale.
For sure. And I know I like saying like these little catchy or these little weird sayings, but invest in yourself if you want people to invest in you, right? The more you know, the more you will get. It's really simple. And it's just as easy as that. If you get educated and you understand what you're doing, then people will see it and it will show through the interactions you have with them. And in turn, people are going to trust you. And if they trust you, then they're going to hire you, right? And if they hire you, then you'll make money. And if you make money, you'll be successful as long as you're profitable, right? And that's the whole roadmap that we're talking about here. So, but it all starts with sales. And I know we keep trying to beat a dead horse and we talk about it all the time. And people are like, oh my God. But it is so important, that initial contact, that sales process, that sales approach that you have, that initial 30 minutes that you invest with whatever time you're doing that estimate, it is hypercritical that you nail it and you knock it out of the park, because that sets the tone for the relationship that you're going to have with that client for however long you're going to have them, for however many years. So it's super critical.
Zach, what about you? What would you tell somebody that is new, a new pool guy out there that's starting?
Well, I think John nailed it. And for me, I lack that confidence from the start when dealing with the customer. I always had that, that kind of uncertainty, I guess. And so what that caused me to do is exactly what you did. I would go to all the shows. I would take all the classes. I would try to get as much information. I'd watch YouTube videos. I would talk to all the vendors. And just over time, you kind of stockpile a little piece of information about this, a little piece of information about that. And then finally you're on site and you're able to, give that confidence about your service because you know what you're talking about and you're able to answer their questions. So now they're seeing you as the expert. Now they're seeing you as the authority, and then you're able to close that deal. So, for me, yeah, it's as simple as just get that knowledge, continue to learn, and continue to practice.
So, John, what are your steps for your sales process?
All right. So these are the ones that we've talked about in our 7 steps of selling. So one, initial contact, right? We talked about that. And that starts exactly when somebody calls you, whether it's an email, whether it's a text message, whether it's a Yelp response or they hit you up on Yelp or Thumbtack or whatever the hell you guys use. It's that initial contact. Rapport building, icebreakers. So when I first walk up to a customer or when I first get to a client, it was even yesterday, it was kind of weird. And I threw the customer off guard. I'm sitting there, they're calling me and they're asking me for help. They want me to come out to their house and we set up an appointment for Saturday before even going. And I pulled out my calendar to start looking at dates and times. I sat down and I said, Daryl, I go, so how's your day going? And he kind of got taken back and he's all, actually, not too bad, John. How's yours? And we just started shooting the shit for like a couple minutes. That's part of rapport building. You need to come off as if you're not desperate, right? That you truly care about them and their situation. And you got to humanize yourself too, not make it only about transactions and dollar amounts. Some people, like you said, Edgar, are like that and it's all business. I've gone to backyards and I've talked to people and they're like, I don't give a shit. How much is it going to cost me? And you get those people, great. Okay, it's going to be $250. Fine, no problem. When can you start? And it's just like, you have to be able to build that rapport. And believe it or not, that's kind of how you build rapport with those types of people, because you got to understand that's the type of relationship they want. And if they get it and you get it, then they'll respect you for it too. As long as, like I said, you draw that line in the sand. Next is showcase the product. And who's the product? It's you. When you're there, they can call any company to come out and service a pool or install a pump or do whatever they're doing. What the purpose of the initial conversation and the initial visit is you selling yourself and your company as being the first choice for them to take care of their needs. So you have to remember that. So, and as far as like what we talk about, like confidence and all that comes into play right there. So you need to showcase the product and you are the product. Needs and discovery. We talked about that, which is you have to find out what their needs are. You have to ask these questions, these probing questions, or you have to give them the time to open up to you and tell you what their needs are. So you can discover what they are, so you can come up with the solution for them. That's the next step, offer a solution. So you're able to offer that solution to them. And then handle objections, right? So you have to be able to overcome objections. And this is, again, when it comes down to knowledge and experience. And this is just stuff that you're either going to have to jump into the books, classes, certifications, talk to people, get on the phone with other pool guys and gals, do all the research you can, right? And then you just have to live and learn from prior conversations that you've had with people. People are going to have objections. If you can't overcome those objections, and if you can't overcome them quickly and convincingly, you're going to lose a sale. Because then all of a sudden, the trust is lost, the wall gets built up between you, and then they're off to find someone else. And then you get I have to talk it over with my wife. Oh, okay, I got 2 more guys or 2 more companies coming down to give me a quote, and we'll let you know. That's when that happens. So when you hear those conversations, when you hear that from a customer, you know you've lost the battle, And then the most important, especially at the end too, is following up. Have a conversation with them, give them a call back, or send them a text message or even an email and go, hey, I just want to follow up and let you know it was a pleasure meeting you and your husband, or it was a pleasure meeting you and your wife, da 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 da. Please let us know in the future. If you choose not to go with us, feel free to call us with any concerns. We're here for you regardless of whether or not we're your service company. Best wishes, da 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 da. Anyways, do follow up with them, and that also shows, that allows you to, like, if you didn't close it right there, sometimes it allows you to seal the deal. And sometimes customers are really busy and they don't remember, or they don't know who they spoke to. And if you send back an email or have that conversation with them or follow up with them, they'll remember and they'll pick you and you'll be able to close it. So those are the steps we follow.
And the thing is that a lot of people are probably already doing a lot of these things and they don't even realize it. And so, it's one of those things where sometimes you just have to stop and take a breath from the madness of everything that goes on in a day and think about your current process, because you might find that you already do some or all of these things. And if that's the case, it just becomes a process of fine-tuning that, and rather than, having to recreate the entire process.
That's some really good gold that my friend John has just dropped into this podcast today. We kind of sometimes get so into the bigger picture of the sales process that sometimes we forget, like, even little things, right, John? Like obviously your company name at the beginning. One of the things that, I always looked at back now at the process was, really that follow-up. I probably could have done a lot better job. It's like, once I kind of signed a customer and I had them on at the beginning, it was like, well, they're already mine. But I wasn't delivering that follow-up as good as I could. And then that just reassures the customer of the decision that they've made. So if they did go with you, they're going to sit there and go, wow, I'm really glad that I went with this company, because not only, was it from the beginning all through the process, but then they really closed with that follow-up.
Amen.
So, hashtag 100.
So is that hashtag 100 because you answered 100% of the questions, Zach, or is that bragging?
Hashtag first place.
Hashtag recount.
Right. Hashtag recount. Right. I'm telling you. Watch.
So let me ask this. So we have some people listening to here. Is there anybody out there that's brave enough that we can bring them on next week and we could do the challenge with them? Do you think we should do that, guys?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that they would be brave enough to jump?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
We might be able to get a couple.
Let's see if anybody jumps on and says anything, because they're they kind of got through the messages through the podcast, but look, all of a sudden, whoop, crickets. Nobody wants to jump on. So no, nobody out there. Wow, Joel, you don't want to? Maria, Jeanette, Mama, Leslie, Tim, nothing. Roastmasters, no. Look at that, guys.
Roastmasters on here. We might end up getting roasted.
Roasted, right? That'd be a good one. So, you know what we might need to do, guys, is maybe kind of put two of them on the spot and try to get them. Uh-oh, somebody said, look, Mama says LOL in a dead zone. John, Zach, was that nervous for you guys to jump on and do that?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So see, guys, if you're listening or if you listen to this podcast later, send us a message and we'll pick two and we'll put two on for next week. Look at that. Maria's going working. LOL. Can't answer.
They're out there busting their butts. So they're just listening to us. They're not able to type.
They're probably going, damn it. Can you guys please stop asking questions so I could finish testing this water? Hey guys, let's take a quick word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with John and Zach on sales.
The sound of you continually pitching pool care poles into the trash. The sound of you using an Ultimate Pool Tools carbon fiber pool care pole for years to come. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. 2021 is the year of the Pool Pro. HASA is here to support pool pros with the purest and highest strength liquid sanitizer available. HASA SaniChlor provides fast, safe chlorine performance without adding any cyanuric acid or calcium. HASA gives you the best cost per use solution for shocking and daily sanitizing and is in stock. Look for the new HASA Rewards app coming soon. Go to HASA.com for more news, educational videos, and product information and literature.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking to Zach. We're talking to John. And John today has been talking about his sales techniques and really giving us a lot of great information on his technique, the things that he focuses on, the steps that he uses. And we want to talk next about revenue sources. And what we want to do at this point is we're probably going to finish this podcast here. We're going to cut, and then we're going to jump so we can start with revenue sources for the Pool Pro. So we're going to finish this podcast here, and then we'll jump and we'll post the next one so that you can jump into the revenue sources. We'll see you on that podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.
Pool Nation, all rights reserved. No part of this podcast may be reproduced in a verbal or nonverbal way. May not be distributed. It may not be distributed in any social media platforms or transmitted in any other forms or any other means, including recording or other electronic or mechanical methods without the prior written permission of Pool Nation.